Okay, this time around we're going to look at how to create a refund transaction. So it's first important to note that in ArchiOffice, refunds are only executed against leftover retainers. No other type of transaction can be done that way. If you do have overpayments, things like that, those actually would not be refunded. Those would either be applied to an immediate invoice that's open in the form of a credit, or it would be held as a retainer for a future invoice if there are none currently. So the most common time this would happen is at the end of a project. Everything's been paid, everything's been settled, but you still have some leftover retainer that you have not yet used. So how do you indicate in the software that that is to be given back? So first, as we said, we need to make sure all of our invoices are fully paid. And in our example, we can see here, we have all of our check marks fully paid checked. And we also see that our balances are all zero, indicating that we have already created sufficient payment or credit transactions to make it be that way. So to actually do that, we're going to go into our project billing transaction screen. And we'll see here is our retainer right here. We have a $15,000 retainer. And we want to give it back. So we didn't use it all. How do we give it back? So we go to our action menu. We make a new transaction. And we're going to make a retainer transaction. And when we do that, the system will realize that we already have a retainer on this project. So it's going to ask us, are we adding more money into the retainer, or are we taking money from the retainer? So we are taking money from the retainer, so we'll click that. And then we'll see it's going to default for us the entire balance of the retainer in our amount and amount to apply boxes. Our amount box will be left the way it is. This is correct. Our amount to apply box, we're simply going to change this from a positive value to a negative value. And we're also going to change from our invoices list, since we know there are none because they're all currently paid. We're going to click back to our projects list. So in this case, Miss Laura Bradford only has one project with us, our Bradford Lake House. So we have our values plugged in and we apply it just as we would an ordinary payment by clicking on the little green check mark. And then we see our transaction at the bottom, negative 15,000, retainer type transaction, and we click done. And we now see a negative retainer amount. And that will close out our retainer completely, and now we can actually issue a check and give the money back to our customer.